in 1. Oh, Leander, we're live. Let's see the bits coming in. Ooh, I do see some bits. Oh, Zach Hicks is here. He's ready to kick some people out of the chat. He says his boot is getting bored. His foot's aching for a good keister. All right. Oh, all of a sudden, Siri starts listening to me. It happens every time we go live. Did you hear that? What the heck? Oh my! Every single time. Boom! And we're live. That's so weird. Shout out to Chase McClain. You better be on your best behavior, Chase, because Zach, his steel-toed boot is on. He's ready to march that boot right into someone's keister. Ulysses Martinez is here. Hey, y'all. We got and Teddy's, who just says hello. Hello. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. We all have our iPhone 13s here. God, look how massive those cameras are. They really are huge. And
what color is yours?
What color is this one?
Yeah, I'm colorblind. I can't tell.
Oh,
Blue.
yes. Look at the screen.
I don't
I'm
know
holding it
what
up. I'm
I
like,
got.
what do you mean?
What color I got?
You've got the Lewis Wallace beautiful Sierra blue eyeballs. Did you notice that Lewis's eyeballs are Sierra blue? I just noticed that about him before we started broadcasting. Yeah, look at that. Sierra blue eyeballs. He's the originator of Sierra blue.
Oh,
Carlos Mejia? I think I said that right. Go me. Hey, he says, hi, y'all. Chase McClain, Leander and Lewis have a bad echo. Do they? Is anyone else? Oh, hold on a second. There we go. I fixed it. Bad echo. Fixed. Thank you for letting me know that. Yep, we just fixed it. Give me some audio there, old chaps. Lewis, give me something.
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
Check.
Ulysses Martinez is saying Puffco King has echo, but I think we fixed it.
Oh,
So no, it's fine.
Fix it?
I fixed it. Yeah, I know exactly what the problem was. Alrighty, well, let's let people pile in. I'm glad that you are okay, Leander. We were worried about you last week.
Yeah.
Your emergency departure, and
It was bad.
yeah, was it like emergency trip to the loo number 3?
I don't know if I want to get into all the details, but
Maybe not.
yeah, I felt really, really rotten
Yeah, but how long were you sick for?
after I had a jab.
A
I was
couple
fine the
puffs.
next day. It was right. It was raining the next day.
But-
in fact, I leapt out of bed
Really? You did that
the
like
next day.
okay. Did you do that thing like that Jean-Claude Van Damme does when he's on the ground, where he kicks his legs up and it like springs his whole torso up? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know. Yeah, when you come up, yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly how I got out of bed. Yeah,
And then you did some meditation
I
with.
got out of bed. Mom.
Did you do some meditation with your legs perfectly split on 2 chairs and centering yourself before your day began?
And then they slip, and
You end up in the V.
Yeah.
And Tracy had to come save you. All right, well, that's enough fun banter. You guys know we're all about the facts here, so let's get this show going because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Honestly, I don't even know if we're gonna make it through all this stuff. And like I said, we've all got our iPhone 13 Pros here, and I thought we could give our 1 week impressions, even though I haven't had mine a week because Apple wouldn't give it to me, which is a fun little story that I'll tell before we get going. But let's go ahead and cue up Mrs. You Know Who. Where is she? Mrs. D. Mrs. D, how are you feeling? Oh, good. I'm just doing the splits on my chairs, getting ready for the show, just like LK. He's amazing. Very flexible guy. You never would have guessed, but he's a big fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme. You can even hit him with the bamboo poles, and he won't even notice. Fun fact about LK. But if you're ready to go, I think I've got everything queued up. Let's make sure that's not too loud, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get this show on the road. In 3. Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute album conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airfun Elijah. Join me today in preparation for iPhone 13 Pro's Max extra weight and girth. He picked up several new pairs of Kirkland dad jeans, and I hear he's even considering a pair of Kirkland cargo pants. Those are sexy. all with the extra big pockets, of course. He's the founder of CultCast. Leander Katie's here.
Hello.
Can't wait to see those on camera. Also with us, he's been using iPhone 13's new 3x zoom lens to search the horizon for fleeing CultCast writers. I'm happy to report it's helped him put not one but two back in the writing cage. Ooh, they got a wallop when they got back. Managing editor of CultCast, Lewis Wallace is here.
Yeah, 3X is definitely worth it.
You're just there, peering over the horizon, seeing if there's any sprinters.
Yeah. Runners.
Because you
They
never
call them runners.
you
They're
never-
not that fast. So you gotta,
Yeah, they're
So
not that fast. But, when they're that far away, I mean, previously, you wouldn't be able to see them. But now with the 3x zoom, you can just zoom right in and you're like, movement, quadrant 4. Send the buggy out there to get them, bring them back, keep the stories cranked out. All right, all. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. As I mentioned 4 times before we officially started, we're going to be talking about our iPhone 13 experiences. God, look how big the lenses are on that. What's that phobia? Is it tryptophobia? I think you actually called it last week, Leander. This is on the verge of giving me that. Like that's phobia of like holes and things, which I have for sure and I've had for a long time. These things are so massive that every time I look at it, it kind of grosses me out a little bit. And I'm not just saying that to be entertaining or funny, like it really actually does, because these cameras are so huge. Got some nice weight on this iPhone 13. Well, anyway, we can talk all about it. But before we do that, let me go ahead and give a hearty thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace.com/CultCast. If you've been a huge slacker your entire CultCast listening history, you've heard me talk about Squarespace, and you've done nothing. You haven't started a website. You haven't taken action on that new business idea. You may not even be one who showers very often. But if you're ready to get your act together and stop being a huge slacker, this is your time. This is your time to shine. Head to squarespace.com/CultCast, and you can do it all on Squarespace. You can build an online store. You can build a website to promote your business or your portfolio. You could start a blog. You could do a website for your new restaurant that you just started, your food truck. Maybe you got some services. Maybe you're really good at something. You want to teach people how to do that. You can charge people to book your time or start a community of people that you're going to be teaching about a specific topic and make money off your website. You can promote your resume or a skill set to potential employers. Everything is so easy to do. You can work in your social media, build image galleries, and you can do it all yourself without having to know how to code, because the back end of Squarespace is easy and fun to use. You can dabble, see how you can customize your website to make it look uniquely yours. You don't need to know how to code or anything, and then you can maintain it all by yourself. They have integrations of all kinds, so you can run your business with all these different services that you might need to integrate with, and you can do it all with your Squarespace website, squarespace.com/CultCast to get started. After your 2-week free trial, use code CultCast at checkout. You'll save 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace.com/CultCast. All right. Let's see here. Where do we start? I think I'm going to send it over to LK. Which one did you get, LK? And how did you like it?
Talk.
We got some real
I got
talk
the
here.
iPhone
Uh-huh.
13 Pro. What's that, Lewis?
No, it was me talking, not Lewis.
Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
Well, you have I was going to say, I already know how you feel because I read your piece on CultCast. iPhone 13 Pro truly is the Goldilocks phone. It's just right. So now I know how you feel, but what do you think? Like, dive into the details here.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. I'm totally jazzed with it, in fact. And I love the phones and that camera module, even though it sticks out like some kind of steampunk, optometrist nightmare.
That's one way of saying it.
I saw, I think it was Ian Zelbo the other day. He tweeted that he just keeps taking the phone off his case so he can gaze at it lovingly. And I started laughing. I was like, oh my God, goodness me. But then, I noticed myself doing exactly the same thing. So I've been taking the case off just so I can admire the beautiful stainless steel band around it, or the camera module. I'm not so hot on the color, I'm not sure I made the right choice.
Oh, you got the mom's minivan blue, didn't you?
Yeah,
There
yeah,
it is.
but it's going to be it's going to be the hot color, the one that everyone was going for.
Uh-huh.
So, and plus I figured I'd put it in a case so I wouldn't know. I had to change my wallpaper so that it didn't clash with the because it was kind of like hideous before. But yeah, I'm totally delighted with it. It's really a really really great phone. Oh my god, the speed, the screen. The screen is really amazing. Like I can't look at old. I'm like John Brownlee now. I can't look at an old device. You know those stutters, because you know the ProMotion.
Yeah.
I have to have that. You know, it's got to be all smooth. Um, you know, and I compared it to like the old phone, and it's amazing. Like I'd never noticed it before, which I was really surprised about. You know, like on but then when you compare them, it's like, oh my god, it's night and day. You can't, you know, you just can't go back. Yeah, and the speed, there's a lot to love. There's you know, I don't think there's anything I don't like about it.
It is definitely a very iterative update, but I'm surprised at how much I like some of the features, or I should say how much I've noticed some of the features that I thought were going to be small improvements, and I do actually notice them day to day. But before I dive into my thoughts, Lewis, you got the Mom's Minivan Blue as well, didn't you? You guys got matching phones.
Yeah, exactly. We better not get them in the same room.
I don't know what would happen. Probably nothing, but
Yeah, it feels a little weird having the same phone everybody has.
But that's the thing though. And look, I don't want to be Debbie Downer here, but that was kind of the disappointing thing for me. Is like there's not really a color that I love, and so you end up having, if you want something new, you have to go with the blue, and I wasn't a fan with the blue, so I ended up going with space gray again, which is the exact same color I had before on my last phone. So it's kind of weird. It's like getting your car fixed, where your car is working fine and then something breaks and you have to spend $1,500, and then when you get it back, it's working just like it was before. So there's no improvement. It just continues to be the same. That's kind of how I felt when I saw the phone. I was like, oh, it feels like the same phone. It looks like the same phone. I wanted it to feel newer, but there's some stuff built in that is definitely much better than my iPhone 11 Pro. But other than the color, yeah, go ahead.
I am loving the thing, and I love those the macro photos. Awesome. I love, you know, as I've droned on and on about, I moved down from a 12 Pro Max to the 13 Pro, and oh my God, the size is so much better. I honestly, I haven't missed the bigger screen either. I mean, part of it's because I'm so blind. I mean, it's always this far from my face anyway, so it's just like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
bring an inch closer.
It's like the same. I don't know. Somehow it doesn't actually seem smaller to me. The screen doesn't seem smaller to me, but the phone itself seems like way more convenient, way less uncomfortable to hold for a long period of time, way better if you're like tossing it in a jeans pocket, etc. Yeah, I'm in love with the thing, but except for that color. The color.
Yeah.
The color is like, yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with it. The thing that I notice is that you take that thing outside, and that blue color looks a lot better.
It's kind of iridescent, like its color changes depending on the lighting scenario.
Yeah, inside it looks, you know, in a dark office where you're sitting working, staring at a computer all day. You know, it's kind of a drab. It's almost like a gray color. But you take it outside, it kind of glimmers a little bit. And if you're outside on like a beautiful California sunny day, that's blue stainless steel case, or what is it called, the frame, and the glass on the back, you know, it does look a lot better in the sunlight. But you know, what if you live in Minnesota and it's, you know, dark 20 hours a day?
That sounds wonderful. It's almost like Seattle here. Well,
Yeah.
Was there
Or England.
any one feature to either of you guys that really jumped out as something that was very noticeable? Because you guys both came from the 12, right?
Yeah.
So
the macro photos.
Okay. I mean, the macro photos is crazy, and Lewis, you and I were talking about all the eyeballs we've been saying online.
Yeah, right.
Like everyone's eyeball pictures. I'm showing one right here. Now, this is a high quality eyeball right here. I don't know whose this is. Leander, it looks like you took
in the
it.
review.
Is that yours?
That's mine. Yeah. I put
You've got a beautiful
right
eyeball.
up like this, right up to my eye.
I wish
I'm trying to get my kids.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to get my kids to do it, and they were kind of being a problem, so I had to be my own model. But yeah, you can put it right up next to your eye, and it'll still take the picture. It's amazing.
It is crazy. Well, first of all, let me compliment your beautiful eye color. I wish you would have cleaned the corners before you took the picture, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And you can like see like all the like the crumbs and stuff on your lens there. I mean, it's just this is actually a really good photo. It's not easy to take a photo of your own eyeball. Lewis and I were talking, like we both tried it. And because you're using the wide angle lens and you're not looking at the screen of the phone, and so you're like holding your eyeball open, like trying to like get this camera. You can't see it.
And I was the one that got it in the right place.
Got some nice pictures of my nostrils. Those
Yeah,
are great.
Mine too.
And every single one that I got in my eyes was just a bloodshot mess. It was like, oh God.
Yeah, same here.
Horrible.
And if you get your face off to the side of the ultra wide, it like widens it all out and smears it, and it looked like a murder scene for my picture because I was like off to the side and my face was all contorted and like my eye was all bloodshot. But if they ever make a Lord of the Rings remake, I'm gonna suggest they use this eyeball here above the tower
for the
for the all watching eye, because I think it might make a good candidate. So the macro, I don't know how practical the macro is, but I will admit it is cool to have. And it's crazy how close you can get the iPhone to something. I mean, I've used a lot of macro lenses. I don't think I've ever used one, at least not in my memory, where you can get 2 centimeters away from something. I mean, you can literally get right on top of it. Like when I was taking a picture of my eye, I was a little concerned that this big, bulbous, ridiculous lens coming off here, which is huge, by the way. The lenses on here are massive. Until you get it in your hand, you really don't notice how big they are. If you compare it to like the 12 or the 11, they're so, I would say, especially the 11 Pro that I came from, they're almost twice the size, it seems. But like it's almost like you can get it so close, you're almost worried that you're going to touch your eyeball with it, which actually might be kind of cool. Like maybe you can see into your brain. Was that Lewis?
you wouldn't be able to feel it, man. Your eyeballs are nerveless.
Your eyeball? I don't think that's true.
Yeah, take a pin, stick one in it. You can see.
I don't think that's true. That's like saying dogs can't look up. I don't think that's true. You know, it's one of those rumors that you hear.
Look it up.
That's actually not true. All right. Well, if you guys can think of any other big features, let me know. But
I mean,
yeah,
the screen and the performance all seems great. I mean, I don't notice any. I mean, I haven't gone back and A/B'd it with the old phone. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but it does feel super snappy, which you would expect out of a new iPhone. I mean, it'd be disappointing if it didn't.
The chips are crazy. The speed of the thing is just insane. I mean, because all this new computational photography stuff, cinema mode. I mean, that's all enabled because they couldn't do it before because they didn't have the chip, couldn't keep up with all the analysis they have to do. Like, how many trillions of operations per second in the neural engine that's speeding this stuff. The other good thing is the battery as well. The battery life is really amazing. Like, you don't even really need to charge it anymore.
No, you buy it and then it just lasts until the next phone, pretty much.
Nuclear powered.
Exactly. Disposable.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I really noticed is the battery life is crazy. It's I think probably the biggest upgrade in battery life that we've ever had on an iPhone. And there's all sorts of ways to measure battery life, right? How are you using it? What kinds of applications are you using throughout your day? How heavy are you using it? Everyone uses their phone different. But for me, I can just give you an example of how much better the battery life is. On my 11 Pro, so I use my phone primarily for streaming YouTube videos, right? And that takes a bit of battery power. So if I charge my phone overnight and then I would use it by maybe 6 to 7, my phone needed to be charged. It was down to like 20%. I'm using my phone in the exact same way. In fact, I would say that I'm using it more than I was using it before because it's new and I'm playing around with it all day, right? And it was like that episode of Seinfeld where they were driving the car as long as they could to see how much gas it had in the tank, and they were just going to keep driving it until it ran out of gas. That's what it felt like. So with this phone, I charged it to 100% in the morning, took it to the gym and used it there for like, an hour watching videos and stuff while I was just squatting the biggest dumbbells you've ever seen. I mean, just massive, legs veiny as heck. And then I go home using it all throughout the day. Get to the time of day when I would normally have to charge my 11 Pro, and it's I don't remember how much battery power it had left, but it was nowhere close to needing to be charged. And then I make it to that night, still doesn't need to be charged. So I didn't even charge it that night. And I took it all the way to the next day at 12 p.m., and it finally got to like 21, 22%. Right. And finally I got impatient of waiting for this thing to get to below 20%, and finally I just charged it. I should have just taken it to see how long it would take to get to 10 or 5%. And I was using it, and the thing is, like, you're using it, and normally on my other phone, you would use it for a little while and then you go check the battery and it would be down 5 or 10%. On this phone, like you use it and then you go back and it's down like 2%. So it lasts dramatically longer than it did before. So that's the one big thing that I noticed. The other thing is the ProMotion. Now, this has gotten some scrutiny online, and I think rightfully so, because a lot of people have not, they've said that the ProMotion isn't a drastic improvement. I think that's probably true. And for some people, they may not even notice it at all, but it's certainly noticeable to me. Like when you're moving your screen around and you're swiping through, I think that it's definitely noticeable. The animation seems smoother and more detailed. So now when a application zooms out, you can kind of see it zooming out. And so the animations just look more detailed, and the responsiveness, the phone seems much more responsive. I don't know if that's because of the A15 or if it's because of the ProMotion or both, but the phone just feels snappy. Like everything you do, it's just like boom, 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 boom. Like I remember on my 11 Pro, when I would pull down to search for something, it would always kind of like hiccup. I would pull down and it would be like, blarp, and then finally it would show up with the search box. And now it's just like boom, boom, boom. Everything just happens instantaneously, and it feels much more responsive. And I think that's the ProMotion in effect. It just feels like it's just waiting for me to touch it. It's like boom, boom, boom. Although I hear for some people it's not been working that way. I haven't tested the cameras out as much as I would like to. So I mentioned this before. I had a fun Apple Store experience on Friday. So on Friday, I go to pick up my phone. It's ready. And unfortunately, I missed the shipping window, so I had to go pick it up if I wanted a chance of even getting the phone before, before Thanksgiving. And so I go down there, and I have a pickup time of 12:45, and so I go down there early because I have to get out of town that day. And I'm like, this is the only time where I can go get my phone. So I go down there, huge line all the way around the building. And I get in line, and I'm there for probably like 10 minutes. And then this girl who works at the Apple Store comes up to me. Actually, it's the guy in front of me first. And she's talking to him, and she's like, what time's your appointment, sir? And he's like, I'm supposed to be here. And I forget the time, but he was 15 minutes early. And he was like, I just figured I'd get in line because by the time I get to the front of the line, it will be my appointment time. She's like, no, sir, you need to come back at your appointment time.
Really?
And I was like, looking around, and he's like, really? Because it's only 15 minutes early. She's like, yeah, we can't help you. We're way too busy. You have to come back at your actual appointment time. And so they made him leave the line. And I was like, oh, no, this is not boding well for me. So she comes with her little iPad, right, over to me. She's like, what time's your appointment, sir? I'm like, well, I'm a little bit early. And she's like, what time's your appointment? I'm like, I'm like 45 minutes early. And instantly I could tell she's annoyed. And I'm like, I know that I'm early, but I was told that I could literally come anytime today, and you would give it to me. And I have to leave later today. So if I don't come now, I can't get my iPhone until Monday or Tuesday. And she's like, sir, I need you to get out of the line. We can't help you right now. And I was like, come on. I'm leaving this afternoon, and I won't be able to come back. I'm like, I can. You're telling me that I can come back later today? Like, what if I can't get it later today? She's like, you can come back literally any time after your appointment time. I'm like, let me get this straight. You won't help me 45 minutes before my appointment, but you'll help me literally for 2 weeks after. And I can come anytime I want. I'm like, maybe that's your problem, is you're letting people show up late, and then you're prioritizing them over the people who are actually there earlier on time. I'm like, that's why you have a line stretching all around your building, madam.
Did you say this to her?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't say that in as many words.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I expressed my dismay, and I just said, TC would be very disappointed with you. And I shamed her. And
did you really say that?
No, I didn't say that.
What did you say? Nothing. Just stand there.
I said, yes, ma'am. And I just left. I just left.
Go back.
It was not a great Apple Store experience. And what's funny is I heard a bunch of people, I was kind of complaining about this on Twitter a little bit, and everyone else was like, oh, I just went there earlier. They just gave it to me. And I'm like, okay, it just depends on who you get at the Apple Store.
Oh, God.
So,
I've never heard of anybody getting punished for punctuality.
Yeah. The guy in front of me, I mean, look, I was 45 minutes, 50 minutes early. I get that. But the guy in front of me was 15 minutes early, and they made him get out of line.
That's crazy. What did you do? Just go stand over in the edge of I mean,
I left. I didn't have time to wait around, so I had to leave. I came back on Monday night.
Wow. It ruined your weekend.
I was excited to have my phone. I was going on a trip with my family. I was going to try out the cameras and everything, and yeah,
wow.
they wouldn't let me do it.
Apple.
Yeah, I know. It's just a bad experience, And it's hilarious because I had several Apple Store employees tell me like, dude, you can go anytime you want. They don't care. Just go early and they'll just give you your phone. Yeah, not at the Seattle store. That girl
Yeah.
was
Well,
was PO'd.
Plus it's launch
Wow.
day, right? How many people was she dealing with?
I don't know. I mean, there was probably 50 people in line waiting for their phones. I will say though that once I got in, I had a look at the iPhone 13s and the iPhone 13 Pros, and the iPhone 13 colors are just way better. Like that. Let me see if I can pull this up. That Starlight model, and Buster was right. That pink model. Oh my goodness, it was. It's a very subtle color change. Like especially on the Starlight, you barely even know that it's off white. It's like a golden white color.
People were complaining that it's off white. Yeah, people wanted pure white.
They wanted Starlight.
I like the Starlight, and that
Right.
pink was like a really light, airy, beautiful pink color. And
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's a perfect example. This guy's holding it in his hand right here. Like that's pink. It's a really beautiful phone, and it just makes you realize how boring the Pro colors are now. They're just so boring. And
Yeah.
the 13s are better. Yeah, what?
My wife got the gold 13
The
Pro.
Starlight?
And she's no.
Oh, the
they
gold
don't make a
gold.
Starlight Pro.
Sorry, I cut
It's
you off.
gold.
Yeah,
It's
okay. I'm with
gold.
you.
And she's like, yeah, I don't like it. It's
She
too
didn't like-
gaudy. It's too gold. It's too gaudy. I don't like that. I'm sure she secretly thought, inside she thought Donald Trump would like this phone.
That set her off.
Not really a fan of Trump, but
Your wife?
yeah,
That's
hard to
surprising.
believe.
That's surprising.
Yeah. So
What's she gonna do? She gonna live with it then,
Yeah, you know what she said.
or is she gonna
I
swap it
said,
with
hey,
you?
I'm sure you could take it back and swap it out. And she's like, I just put a case on it.
That's what
I
most
mean,
people are
that's
going
the
to do
long
anyway.
and short of it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
almost everybody's going to put a case on it, but
Well, you're gonna wake up one morning and you're gonna have a gold phone, and she's gonna have a blue one.
oh god,
Is it really that ugly?
I like it.
I
Actually,
like it
I
too.
almost said, hey, want to swap?
I feel like it's much more subtle than it was in previous gold phones, but I think that the Starlight model is. That's what I like about the Starlight and the pink is they're really subtle. It's like a touch of color instead of being really obvious and in your face like Sierra, Mama's Minivan Blue, or the gold. They do have some bold colors here. Yeah, what?
The Gold Pro is not. I mean, only the edges are garish, right? The stainless steel around the edge is bright gold. And the rest of it, it's almost like it's just white.
I'm telling you
I mean, it
guys,
is white.
bronze iPhone 13 Pro. Big mistake. Even Gurman agreed. Did you see that tweet that he put out that said they really missed an opportunity to do something special with the bronze? And I was like, there you go. Me and Gurman are practically like brothers. Our minds are so perfectly in tune. We think alike on so many different areas.
Just anything that doesn't look like it's ripped out of a Banana Republic catalog.
Yeah.
I mean, just give us one option, just one.
I would
Just
have been
one option that's
rabid.
actually like
Desirable
and different.
Yeah,
And,
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I mean, they could have taken this pink and put that on the 13 Pro, and people would have been rabid over it. I mean, I probably would have killed somebody in line to get my hands on that. Like,
Really?
Yeah, like in Game of Thrones style, just plunged my thumbs into their skulls. Taking the phone out
Maybe
of their
that's
hands.
why maybe that's why they do it. And it's a safety call.
Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. So anyway, not to complain, but I really do love the 13 colors, and the pink. It was alluring when I went in there, and I thought, do I really need the third camera? Right? I mean, do I really need the ProMotion? And I think I made the right decision, but I do miss having the colors that the 13 has because they're just better colors. It's time for Apple to do something more exciting with the 13 or with the Pro models from a color perspective. I'm just tired of the same three colors. I know I'm repeating myself from like the last 5 shows, so I apologize for that. But so yeah, the zoom on the telephoto lens definitely much more noticeable now. It's 3x instead of 2x. And so you can
Pretty
really
good. I took some nighttime shots of the San Francisco skyline.
Yeah.
And the optical zoom, the photos are crisp and nice, but then as you zoom out further into the digital realm, it gets all messy. But I don't even understand, why do they have 15x digital zoom? Because the picture you get is like just a horrible mess at the end.
Just so they can
Maybe it's
say
for
that
bird watchers.
it's so they can say that it has it. That's why. I mean, because it's essentially taking an image and just stretching it all the way out
Yeah.
and ruining the fidelity of the image. So it doesn't create high quality images, but it would have been nice. Remember when those guys ripped off my iPhone and I tried to take a picture of their license plate as they were trying to speed away? So a long time ago, I was selling an iPhone on Craigslist, and these punks stole it from me, like ripped it out of my hand and then took off running. And I had to like hoof it after this kid, but he was probably 17. I was like, there's no way I'm going to catch this guy. He was so far ahead of me. And so I come around the corner after chasing this kid for like probably what felt like an eternity. It felt like I was chasing him for like 30 minutes, right? Hopping over
Half a
fences and
block.
stuff. It was probably a block. And I turned the corner where I saw him go, and I'm like, where'd he go? He's disappeared. And I see him get into a car like 2 blocks ahead of me. And I'm like, and then the car is trying to drive and take a left-hand turn, and it gets stopped because all these other cars are coming in. So I'm like, oh, dude, this is my chance. So I whip out my phone, I zoom way in.
I thought he grabbed it.
It did, but it wasn't high fidelity enough, and I had to
thought the
digitally
kid grabbed
zoom.
your phone. I thought
I think he was probably selling after upgrading. That would be my guess.
Wait, what? Huh? What? Oh, yeah.
Later saying, how did you take a picture with the stolen phone?
No. I had my other phone in my pocket, right? I figured
new
that
one.
I figured that was apparent from the details of the story, yeah. And so I took a picture, and then when I looked at the picture later, like the license plate was just too blurry, you couldn't see it. Like that, if I had this phone 3x zoom, those guys
would be in jail.
They'd be in Monroe
Wait,
State
it's
Penitentiary.
Seattle. Those guys would be
they'd be on
wherever
death
they are
row.
right now.
Yeah, they'd
Doing
be
exactly what they're doing.
definitely on death row. I would have demanded that they execute that minor who stole my iPhone. He'd be doing yard work in my house for at least a few months.
You would have put the needle in his arm yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
That'll suit you.
would have been there as he's strapped to the table. I'd be like, any last words? I'd be like, yeah, give me that. I'll put the needle in myself. Strap his arm in. I'll be like, then I lean in real close to his face, right to his ear, and I'll say, "See you in hell."
Wow.
And then I'll grab the switch and pull it myself and watch him go. I'll teach you to mess with Airfoot Elijah.
You obviously did have these fantasies, didn't you? Because it's pretty detailed. Obviously, you couldn't think of anything else like for weeks afterwards.
I've been dreaming about this for years. Sometimes the
Right.
memory does pop into my head, and it just makes me so mad. And I think, like, if I ever see this kid, what am I going to do to him? Anyway, our viewership is dropping precipitously since I'm talking about torturing a minor for stealing my iPhone. Is there anything else to say about this phone? Do you guys have anything else you want to add? It is heavier. It's definitely a little bit thicker, I've noticed, but I actually don't mind that. It feels very substantial in the hand. I also like it feels much grippier. I feel like I can hold on to it better, and so that's a bonus. Again, the freaking lenses on the back, absolutely massive. You know, can I tell you guys a conspiracy theory? All right, here's a conspiracy theory. So do I have this story up somewhere? So we all heard those iPhone 14 rumors, which Mark Gurman actually somewhat confirmed this week, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But one of the rumors, or the renders from Front Page Tech, right? So let me share my screen with you guys so you can see what we're talking about here. So if you look at the renders for the iPhone 14, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, you can see that the cameras from this render have basically been made flush with the body. And my theory is, so they want the iPhone 14 to really look new and novel. And I was like, what if the reason these lenses are so huge and stick out so far is because they know on next year's model, they're going to drop them into the body. And it will give the two phones such a huge aesthetic difference that it's going to make this phone feel much newer because of the dramatic reduction in camera protrusion right here. I don't know. That's probably not why. That's probably not why these are so huge. But I think it's an interesting theory because look at they made these flush with the
Well,
body, at least in the render. We don't know if this is true. Yeah, sorry,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say, yeah. How much do you trust that render? That's Ian, right? So
Yeah.
that's basically Ian making stuff up.
Mm,
Well, based on source materials,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but do they have the dimensions for how much it sticks out, or?
Well, I'd have to go through this story, which I'm not going to do right now. But you can see from the images, like the lenses are totally flush with the
Well,
body. Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking, I like the camera module. I think it looks, it's like it makes it more interesting, the phone,
You
doesn't
think
it,
so?
to look at? I mean, if you go back and look at the iPhone 8, I mean, it was really boring. It had a little tiny dot for the camera in the back, and it's almost like almost featureless. This gives it something to look at, and I like I like the sort of utility of it. It's engineering, so it doesn't matter if it sticks out because that's its function. I like the aesthetic of the, of it being a tool.
Yeah. So
I would way rather have it be flat.
yeah, me
You think you'd
too.
have it flat?
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
I mean, if nothing else, it's like sits on the table properly. I mean,
Yeah.
this thing's almost
Well,
like a ramp.
Well, that's a funny. You can't. It doesn't sit. Like on all the Qi chargers. Everywhere now.
Right.
It doesn't sit down properly.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of
It still
annoying
charges though,
actually.
so-
It works. It's just weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
It doesn't feel right. It's asymmetrical and off kilter.
Yeah, and I had that problem with my Qi charger. So my iPhone 13 kind of sits on it at a slant, and it like wobbles back and forth, which it does. It just it feels like it's unrefined, and it feels like it shouldn't be working that way. And then with your MagSafe Duo, it is true that if you try to lay the MagSafe Duo against the body of the iPhone 13 Pro, because these cameras are so huge, that it just kind of stays like propped up. It doesn't really quite fit together the way you would think it should. And it still works, but it just feels unrefined. It feels kind of annoying that it doesn't sit flat. Like if you like things to fit into place, it's going to kind of bug you. Now, one of the things I have to try is changing the orientation of the MagSafe Duo from horizontal to vertical. I think the vertical orientation might work better, but then the phone is blocking the Apple Watch charging part, I think. So I have to play around with that a little bit more. But yeah, it seemed kind of strange that those two things don't fit together as well as you would think that they would. And then you look at this beautiful iPhone 14 render, and it's like, oh, look at those lenses. They're just nice and flat. They fit into the body. It's just smooth and sleek. And this phone just screams iPhone 5 to me, which was one of my favorite designs ever. Even like with those little round buttons on the side, which the buttons now are like pill shaped. They're kind of elongated, right? And they move back to that. That looks like the exact same design as iPhone 5. So we'll see what happens. We don't know if this is real or not. And we don't know if this is real, but Apple may end up going with a different design. John is reporting on what his sources tell him, but as we saw with Apple Watch Series 7, it's up to Apple what they end up actually doing. And in today's manufacturing environment, you just don't know what they're actually going to be able to accomplish, which is why there's so many delays on everything. God, what a segue.
Well, there was also some talk about the ports being ditched, right? The Lightning port.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like that's a really interesting rumor. And John Prosser has said that before. Like he thinks that they're going to go from the Lightning port just to straight up no ports. And I was thinking about that the other day. And initially that makes sense. It's like, oh, they want a portless phone. It's going to be sleek and new. But they're moving the iPads to USB-C. And the iPads work with all of those different USB-C accessories. And if you remove the USB-C port, if you remove the Lightning port and don't replace it with a USB-C port on the iPhone 13 or the iPhone 14 or 15, whatever, you're not going to be able to use all those accessories anymore. Doesn't that seem strange?
Like what, though?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
you mean like Lightning accessories that are out there now?
Yeah, like current Lightning accessories, or even like the SD card accessory that you can plug into the iPhone and use that to bring your pictures into your phone. I don't know how common that is, but you're removing the possibility of even doing any of that stuff. And doesn't that seem a little bit weird?
Well, I don't know, because on the iPad, I think you want to plug it into external monitors or, external hard drives. There's a whole bunch of peripherals you want to use on an iPad because it's a sort of faux laptop, right? So, but I don't know if you have that use case on the iPhone. Like what was the last time you plugged anything into the iPhone except a charging cable?
Yeah, good point. I mean, it's been forever. It's been forever,
Yeah.
and maybe that's just so uncommon that it doesn't matter on an iPhone. But I do use the 20-watt charger a lot, so it is nice to be able to fast charge your iPhone. But as we found out this week, you were probably about to say this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the Pro Max, right, is now
Right.
250 watts or something.
Well, it allows for a 27-watt wireless charger,
yeah.
right?
You can plug it into a car charger, yeah.
So that's even faster. Like even accounting for the 10% loss of wattage through heat, I think that's right. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but you lose some of the charging potential through heat when you wirelessly charge. Even taking that into account, if you can get a 27-watt wireless charger on your iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's still charging at 25 watts or so with the power loss, which is 5 watts faster than the 20-watt Lightning charger, right? Does that make sense? It makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's still 25% faster charging in wireless mode than it would be charging connected to Lightning with the fastest chargers that are available today. So that's an interesting development and kind of...
And that would mean it would recharge in about an hour.
Fully, you think?
Yeah, because I managed to recharge this Pro with a 20-watt Lightning charger in about an hour. It took just a bit over an hour to go from almost nothing to fully charged.
Actually, here's an interesting comment. Eris Pundis, forgive me if I'm not saying that quite correct. He's saying many people need to plug the phone into the car for CarPlay. Now, that is interesting, right?
That's a good point. So
if they got rid of the ports, guess you can't use CarPlay in your car anymore. That would be pretty annoying.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good point.
So it seems to me like if they're going to make the phone, if they're going to get rid of the Lightning port on future iPhones, it's going to be years and years away. Because they already have, or they're going to have to do an update that makes all phones work with CarPlay wirelessly. That's the other option.
Yeah. People are going to lose their minds, I think. You remember when they switched from 30-pin to Lightning?
Yeah.
And the outrage that caused. And then when they lost the headphone jack, oh my God, you think the world had ended.
People had aneurysms, sent people to the hospital.
It would cause a stink storm.
A big stinky storm. That's true. So I guess I just when I think about the prospect of removing Lightning from the iPhone, I could see them going both ways, and at least it doesn't seem like something they would do for years. I kind of wish they would switch to USB-C at this point. Lightning is just such a huge pain in the butt to have all these different cables. I was because I've got USB-C cables, but I don't have very many USB-C to Lightning cables, which now I have to start buying those cables. They're not cheap. They're between $15 and like $25 for the good ones. So now I have all these different cables. I just wish they would unify the charging experience and let me carry just one cable and one wireless charger. Something that does charging wirelessly for my AirPods Pro, my Apple Watch, and then one cable for everything else. That's the dream scenario right there. But Level Remix, EU might make your dream come true, Efron.
That's what I was going to say. They're talking about mandating that within the next couple of years.
Which, if they did, then Apple would probably just throw a dongle in the box and call it good. But in any case, we've been talking about this for a long time. Should we go ahead and move on? I don't even know where we are.
Let's talk about the giveaway.
Oh yeah.
We should say this week's giveaway. We're going to be giving away an iPhone 13.
That's
brand
right.
New.
Do I have that up somewhere?
Thanks to our friends at Spec.
Yep.
Cases, and they're throwing in 3 cases too. 3 really nice cases. So you get an iPhone 13 and 3 cases from Spec, 1 for every other day of the week, and it is a really nice deal. Yeah, it's a really, really good deal. Chances of winning are super high, much better than chances on other people's giveaways. And so if you go head to cultofmac.com, go to the front page, scroll down to the giveaway section, and there it is. Click on the link, sign up. You get our fantastic newsletter, which now is actually getting better than ever. And in fact, the real reason you want to do this really is, I mean, forget the iPhone 13. You want to get the newsletter. The newsletter really is a reason why. And the newsletter is going gangbusters. Like our open rates now are like at 30%, which is like, off the charts for newsletters. And, we get all this great feedback. People really like it. It's a really good digest of the news of the day. So you got, it's like 6-7 stories. Everything you need to know about what's been going on in the Apple world, quotes from Steve Jobs, some fantastic tweets. We scour the internet for the best tweets that are available in the Apple world. It's a super nice
Such
newsletter.
good tweets. Yeah. You guys can't handle the tweets,
right?
to be
Just
honest.
the best tweets.
Yeah. Everyone knows that you guys have the best tweets. Sorry, Lewis, what were you saying?
I used to say the price is right on that newsletter too.
Yeah. And you get what you pay for, so keep that in mind.
100% free.
Cool. Well, so I put a link in the chat. So for those of you who have not already, go enter.
I think
just try it.
I think that there's some new ways to enter too, right? Didn't Tracy bump up the entry methods? So like if you went there last week and entered, you might have got 5 entries, but today you might be able to get 5 more.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay.
Well, I've been led to believe that. I have not verified it.
Okay. Well, I'll also put a link in the show notes if you're interested in checking out the giveaway, and you might as well, because you might win yourself an iPhone, and then you won't have to rob somebody at a 7-Eleven for their
Those
iPhone.
spec cases are nice too.
Yeah,
nice.
Sorry, that's a good point. I've used a ton of spec cases. I've reviewed a ton of cases, and they are very nice. They're always of the highest quality from the cases that I review. They make really well-fitting cases with nice clicky buttons, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we I just want to wrap up real quick. iPhone 13. Sorry, what?
Were you talking about iPhone cases?
Yeah.
Did you know that there's a whole bunch of iPhone cases in the Cult of Mac store?
I did know that, and they're super high quality as well.
Yeah.
Are you trying to do an ad lib here? Is this an ad hoc?
Can't you read the notes? Yeah, man. Store.cultofmac.com. Just want to let everybody know we do have a bunch of iPhone 13 cases in there from a whole bunch of different people.
That's a nice one.
We've been adding them, of course, like the floodgates are open now, but we're adding them to the store daily. And, if you haven't checked out the store in a while, this is a good time to do it. If you got a case of the, Sierra Blue Blues, get yourself a nice case and cover that baby up.
Yeah,
so the first thing I did as soon as I got my phone is I ran down, because I didn't have any iPhone 13 cases here. They won't fit the 12 cases. I ran down to Best Buy, which is 3 blocks away, and bought a case. And then as soon as I put it on, I dropped it.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, but it landed on the corner, and that's totally fine.
Did it protect it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
this Ilago Pebble case. This is nice.
You didn't shop from the Cult of Mac store?
Well, I don't want to risk it. I didn't want to
have
risk
time, Lewis.
Wow.
He needed something right away.
I needed it that minute, yeah.
Dude, I get it,
That was
because
bubble wrap.
I've been carrying mine around like an infant, because I'm so paranoid I'm going to drop it. And I haven't bought a case yet, and so I'm like holding mine ever so gingerly. I place it in my pocket very intentionally. I take it out very carefully just to make sure that I don't accidentally drop it. But what normally happens is, like, I'm taking off my pants, and then I accidentally pick my pants up upside down, and it comes shooting out of my pocket at the speed of sound, and then it hits the ground full speed. That's usually what happens in the first week, so I'm trying to prevent that scenario.
And the weird thing is like, the glass front, because it's got that ceramic shield on it, is super tough, and that won't break. But the glass back will.
Yeah, that is a little bit
Doesn't
weird.
make any sense at all.
Well,
yeah, they don't. The back is nowhere near as tough as the front.
Got to save something for iPhone 14. Glass ceramic shield now on both sides. iPhone 14 looks exactly the same as the 13. You thought the phone was going to look different, like John Prosser said? No, it's not. It's got A16 and ceramic shield in the back. That's it. $1,000. Okay. So store.cultofmac.com, store.cultofmac.com. God, I'm so lost. What were we even going to talk about next? Let me
God, who knows?
let me go. Oh, the one thing I did want to mention, if you do want an iPhone 13, you got shortages galore. I don't know if you've tried to order one, but the wait times for iPhone 13 are truly absurd now. If you try to order one, I think you're going to be waiting until November of 2025 to get one. So
What is it pushed out now to, though? Early November?
early November. It depends on the model, but yeah, I think it's early November for most of the phones now. You might be able to get one faster if you go into the
like a whole-
store. I think that you might have more luck doing that because, I mean,
Because they restock, don't they, pretty frequently?
Check,
I think
check
so.
the app every day if you want one. That's the way to do it. Or go to the Cult of Mac webpage and sign up to win one.
or you could do that, and then you'll just get one for free.
That's
And
probably your best chance, to be honest, isn't it? Really. I mean,
just
going to-
actually,
I mean, I haven't checked the app lately, but I mean, in past years when I found myself in this situation, that's definitely the way to do it. Just check the app or the website and see what's available that day, and boom, go get it.
they used to have those websites that scraped
Oh,
Apple sites.
right.
Have they have ones? I haven't seen one of those for a while.
I haven't checked that in a while. Yeah, I mean, like so many other things, Apple's kind of taken the, like now they do it themselves.
They Sherlocked it, yeah.
Yeah.
are you guys talking about fixing the iPhone 13? Sorry, I was spacing out as I read the chat here. What were you guys talking about?
Geez, no, we were talking about finding an iPhone 13.
Oh yeah.
It was a riveting conversation. So I can see why your mind
Yeah.
drifted.
Yeah, sorry, I was really trying hard, but what you guys were saying was just so boring. I was just like fighting it, and I just went into like a blank stare off into the distance. Now I was just trying to read the chat, which I have positioned way too far from my face, so I can barely see. I'm like straining my eyes.
Zoom in on it.
People want us to talk about iOS 15 and the bugs. Oh, dudes, we're gonna talk about bugs galore. Bugs galore. One of the ones that drove me crazy, I didn't even realize it was a bug, was the unlock your iPhone with your Apple Watch bug. Did you guys run into that?
Yeah.
Was that affecting everybody?
I don't know if it's 100%. I don't understand. I mean, a lot of these things I've been reading about, a lot of these bugs, it's like, yeah, they seem to be happening more on iPhone 13 than on iPhone 12. And I don't know if that's because it ships with iOS 15 or, I mean, the thing, what was Apple Music? It broke Apple Music for some people, right? You had to like upgrade the phone as soon as you got it to not break Apple Music.
Sounds like a
obviously
reason
not-
to use Spotify to me.
Ah,
Spotify
Yeah, but then
was working
Spotify
great.
was draining the batteries. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. I was like,
win one
I've
or
only
the
listened to
other.
like 10 songs. Why is my battery down to like 30%?
Right.
Yeah, there were all sorts of bugs. The one that affected me the most, I was just saying, was the unlock your iPhone with your Apple Watch. I always forget which way it goes because I use that all the time, right? So when you have your Apple Watch on, if you turn this feature on, if you're wearing a mask, you can still unlock your iPhone as long as you're wearing your Apple Watch. And life is just not as cheery when you got to type your code in 30 times an hour to unlock it. You don't realize
the
how much of a
grocery store.
lifesaver. Or at the gym, yeah. I mean, I'm constantly unlocking my phone with my Apple Watch, and I was truly annoyed when I found out that broke. But I will say they just released an update for the beta, iOS 15.1 beta, and it did fix that problem for me. So I can activate that feature again. And the thing is, I probably wasted an hour and a half trying to fix it before I went online and found out it was a bug, because my transition from iPhone 11 Pro to iPhone 13 Pro was so smooth. They've ironed out so much of the process now when you're going through. It's just really crazy. What were you going to say?
Well, I just want to talk about that because that was one of the best experiences, like transferring it over using that, their system where it's like, do you want to transfer your settings from your old phone?
Yeah.
It's almost flawless. Everything, even the stuff like music that I have downloaded and just in my iTunes library, all that stuff downloaded, sort of offline use. That's one weird little thing though that they still haven't fixed that drives me crazy, and that's the name of the phone. They don't change the name of the phone, so it's like
right.
That's right.
It's
What's
an
up with
iPhone.
that?
I don't know. It's
I
the
actually got
craziest thing, isn't it?
a message. It's like, are you sure you want to update this iPhone 12? I'm like, what is that? This isn't an iPhone 12. What do you mean? It threw me for a loop, and I actually pressed the wrong button, and then I had to like start over again at some point. I think it was asking if I wanted to pair my Apple Watch to my iPhone 12.
12.
Yeah.
Because that's the name of the phone in your settings, isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I wonder if they do that to maintain connectivity with other things that you connect your phone to, because if they change the name of your device, all of a sudden it might break a connection or something. It seems like that's one they would have thought of.
It's so weird because it's like almost like you said, almost everything now is flawless. Like in the past, there used to be there was always huge gaps and holes, weren't there? Apps won't download. You always had to put your, stuff wouldn't work. But this time, yeah, it's really amazing how like all the Bluetooth stuff all works as well. Which in the past you had to repair it, didn't you? Like with your car and stuff like that. That stuff all works now.
I've had
So
Lewis
yeah,
is
it's really a
grimacing.
great experience.
What were you going to say, Lewis?
I've had some very weird problems ever since getting this phone. I mean, like all the HomeKit automations don't work.
Oh.
Really, mine
Okay.
work fine. Now, let me ask
weird
you:
CarPlay glitches.
did you, when you're going through the process, God, this is such inside talk. When you're transitioning from one phone to another, it gives you the option to download everything from the internet, or you can transition it from another phone that's close by. Which one did you do?
It did the iCloud backup.
Okay, I feel
Oh,
like that's where
see?
things get screwed up.
Yeah.
Mm.
For me, I
Wrong.
do the transfer from phone to phone, and it
Yeah,
seems like
phone
it
to
just
phone's the
moves
way
it
to go.
seamlessly over.
Great. Now
That's
you
why
tell
you've
me.
got all these problems.
Yeah,
You've got to do
So
the
should I
phone to
just
phone.
return the phone and get another one and do that? Oh wait.
I think you should just return the phone and get an Android. Do that instead. You might
Great
be
idea.
happier. Yeah, when you download things from iCloud, it seems like things get a little wacky. It just, for whatever reason, it kind of starts to break things. And if you just transfer it from another phone, it's way faster, first of all. And then also, it seems like things actually move over better. Because this was one of the most seamless transfers I've ever had. Everything was perfect. The only issue that I had, well, there's two. One is I have some widgets on my home screen that I was using to track different stocks and some Doge, which I'm making a fortune on. I'm only down like 50. I'm only down like 50%. It's gonna come back though.
Oh, shit.
And those all defaulted to, I think, like NASDAQ or something. So they all had the exact same NASDAQ stock in the widgets. That was annoying, but I changed it easy enough, right? And then the other thing was my Apple Watch didn't connect, which was really, really annoying. It took me like an hour and a half to realize, oh, it's a bug. I can't fix this, no matter what I try. Because I tried like powering my Apple Watch on and off, powering my my iPhone on and off, trying to get them to resync and everything, and it was like, no matter what I did, I couldn't get it working. But other than that, it worked great. But we did have a lot of other bugs. You know what I just realized here, guys? We forgot to split these stories up. So, Lewis, you want to just take the bugs because you did most of these anyway. I just did the first one, but we also had the intermittent touch issue. We had the CarPlay crashes. There's all sorts of crapola in here.
Yeah, that intermittent touch one is kind of weird because I was experiencing the same kind of thing with my iPhone 12 Pro Max before the upgrade. Anyway, so some iPhone models are being plagued by touchscreen issues in iOS 15. Seems to affect iPhone 13 owners most, causes devices to not respond to touch inputs, and supposedly a restart will fix it temporarily, but it seems like it's resurfacing. Some people say that just repeatedly touching it can get the screen working normally again.
That's the fix. To just keep touching it.
Go like this, jam your finger on it.
There you go.
So,
Problem
I mean,
solved.
an iPhone where touch input doesn't work,
That's annoying.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's really annoying. Oh, they got Arn. They got Arnold Kim from Mac Rumors. He was just tweeting about this as well. Mine has been working flawlessly. Have you guys had any issues with this?
None of the touchscreen stuff.
Your issue, the touch issues? No.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry to backtrack here. There's one thing I forgot to mention. There's one thing I forgot to mention for iPhone 13 Pro. And Leander, you touched on this, but the screen is just really beautiful. Have you noticed that? Like, it's one of the best looking OLEDs that I've seen. The dynamic range is fantastic. It does get noticeably brighter, and I'm just peering into these new active screensavers and the wallpapers and stuff, and they just look gorgeous. The screen, the pictures that I have on in my photo library, they all look much better on this screen. The videos look better on this screen. I don't know how they tweaked this screen beyond the ProMotion, but the quality of the OLED over my 11 Pro is absolutely noticeable. And I just find myself peering into the screen just because everything looks so good and vibrant. What were you going to say?
Well, the wallpapers, I'm really disappointed with the new wallpapers
You are?
in iOS 15. They're crap, There aren't any good ones, really.
What are you talking about? The dynamic ones are great. Maybe these aren't new to iOS 15. But like the drawings that they have, let me see if I can. You don't love them, huh?
That lightsaber thing. I've never understood that one.
So
yeah, it looks like some kind of Tokyo strip club.
you would know.
Not that I would know.
Leander's son is hitting up the clubs. So this is the one that I'm
I like-
using, and I think it's really cool, and it's dynamic, right? So it changes throughout the day. The look of it does, and they've
Oh,
got a
yeah.
bunch of illustrated ones like this that I think are really cool. Now, those may not be iOS 15, but I think that they are.
Hmm.
Anyway, I
Well,
didn't mean
I
to throw
don't
us
see
off.
those.
I don't remember seeing the one there with the what is that California landscaper or
Yeah,
Martian
what?
moonshot?
No,
What is
that was it looked like a mountainside in somewhere near Cupertino or something. I don't know.
Looks like one of those drawings from the
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them.
national park posters.
There's a bunch of
Right.
them too. So if you go to choose wallpaper and then go into dynamic, maybe no stills. Oh yeah, it's stills, and then you can see there's a bunch of new ones that are like illustrated. They're like hand drawn. So like all those ones right there, and like that one up there, and they're all pretty cool. So it's illustrated pictures of existing. No, they're not existing wallpapers, but they're really beautiful. And then the night mode of it is really cool because like the whole thing gets like dark blue. Anyway, this is not great radio, I realize. So, what were we talking about? Oh, bugs, Lewis, bugs. So we touched on the touchscreen problem, and then also we got some CarPlay issues, right?
Yeah. So add it to the list, right? People are saying they are unable to play tracks in Apple Music or third-party apps like Irfan's favorite Spotify without the CarPlay system crashing completely. There's some fixes you can try, like disabling the equalizer if it's active, which is an interesting thing. Dig in there, find that equalizer. If you got that turned on, turn it off. Maybe it won't crash, but I don't know, man. To me, it seems like I've just been experiencing so many different things that are acting kind of weird. I mean, I use Apple Maps. I pick, there's two different routes, right? I pick the one I want to go on. I start driving. Instantly, it starts routing me the way that it wants me to go.
Well,
Not
that's
great.
Yeah, that's always been the problem with Apple Maps, though, right? Is you're like, you always get that sense that I don't think this is taking me the right direction, but you follow it dutifully. You're like, well, it's a GPS system; it should know, right? And then it takes
Right
you
over
the
the
most
cliff.
arcane way. You're like driving through like village roads and underneath strange overpasses where there's shady drug deals happening, and where you could have just taken a straight road to get to your destination. But Apple Maps has a way of taking you the scenic route, doesn't it?
Well,
It ain't that bad. I mean, that's pretty good these days. But I mean, I am surprised when I say no. I want to go this way, and then it just ignores my request. That's a little frustrating.
Leonard, were you going to say something?
just the Apple Maps update. It looks really, really great. I saw a couple of people tweeting about like in London,
Yeah.
and they have all the road markings now. So pedestrian crossings. What do you call them in this country?
Crosswalks.
Crosswalks. Yeah. So in England they're called zebra crossings, but stuff like that is all
We don't
marked
have
up.
that many zebras here.
Right. But the level of detail is really, really great, and all the landmarks they have, it's really
So
nice.
they only
looking.
rolled this out in select cities, I guess, right? So
I think they just rolled out London. That's why they
LA.
were talking about London.
New York, London, right? San Francisco, of course. But yeah, I was looking at this one of, what is this? The Castro Theater. Okay. And I was like, wow, that looks really beautiful. So for those of you listening, if you're in the map, you can actually see what the building looks like, the architecture of the building, and then it has like a little light up sign outside. You can actually see it looks like an animated version of the actual building, and you can see like the trees lining the streets. It's really beautiful. I wonder how long it will be before they roll this out to other cities. I mean, I'm in Seattle. It's no it's no town. It's a major city. So that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, they made some major upgrades to maps, which if you're not in one of those four places, you're not actually going to see. But enhanced navigation for better driving. Oh man, that's a welcome change where you can actually see what lane you're supposed to be getting off on. That was actually one of my biggest confusing points about Apple Maps is I felt like oftentimes it was hard to know what lane it wanted you to be in, and I can't tell you how many exits I've missed because of I just wasn't sure where to go. So,
but it says things like, stay in the left 2 lanes and exit.
yeah, but sometimes I feel like it doesn't know how many lanes are available. And so it says, "Oh, there's 5 lanes and you need to stay in the far right too." But I'm like, "Well, there's 6 lanes." So, which 2 am I supposed to be in? Is it like far right or kind of
Kind of the
Yeah, what?
you counting the pullover line?
Maybe. I don't know. Should I be?
I don't know. The shoulder.
I figure. I mean, it's a lane, right? I figure it's there. I should count it. So I like the way that they have it in the new maps, where it actually shows you like an exact illustration. It's like, here's what the freeway looks like. Here's the overpass, and we want you to go this way. Just show me. I shouldn't have to make any kind of like calculations when I'm on the road, right? You just need to show me.
I liked it when I had a little dash mount for my phone in the car,
Yeah.
and I put on 3D. So then I'm driving around, and you see a 3D version of the city, right beneath the windscreen, and it's really quite amazing. The correspondence between the map and the real world. I thought it was quite lovely. I spent it actually, like it was kind of distracting because I was spending so much time like looking over at the screen, see what was going on the phone.
Well, let's hope they don't put one of those screensavers from Apple TV on there. Those mesmerizing ones where you just like sit there and stare at it. People are gonna be crashing all over the place. I think that's everything about iPhone 13. I think that's all the bugs. Was there anything else that we missed, Lewis? Were there any bugs? I feel like there might have been one more that we're missing, but it's not my notes. So
yeah, there's let's see.
I have to say my experience for the most part has been pretty seamless. Like besides the Apple Watch bug, I know there are other bugs floating out there that other people have experienced, but like for some strange reason, I haven't had any issues besides that one. I will say, just one last thing about iPhone 13 is it is iterative. If you have an iPhone 12, I think a lot of these changes really aren't going to be super worth it for you unless you want to have a new phone every single year, in which case you don't care what I say. You're just getting a new phone and more power to you. But it does, even though some of the features are definitely noticeable, and there are some features that certainly improve the phone in some cool ways. I feel like a more apt upgrade would be like what I did, like an 11 Pro to the 13 Pro. Like then you actually notice some of the stuff. But even then, I wouldn't say it's a huge improvement. It's not like a whole world of difference. It's like it's still iterative, even from my 11 Pro, which is kind of surprising, that there's not more improvements 2 years after I purchased my phone. I mean, there was the improvements were so, how do I say this? The improvements were not major enough to make me definite that I was going to get the iPhone 13 Pro. Like, I even considered waiting until the 14, and we'll talk about the 14 here in a second, because it just seemed like there wasn't enough marquee features there to really impress me, and they didn't do the bronze. Yeah.
What's it going to take? Lasers?
Lasers would be cool.
Folding phone?
A folding phone would also be big. A major aesthetic redesign. I feel like that's something that even if they don't add in a bunch of new features, at least you have that to lean on, right? Or, Lewis, a color that I actually wanted. Big, beautiful, Buster Heine bronze. That would have been something I went for, but alas. Okay, so I think that's everything. Let's talk about iPhone 14 here before we wrap up, because we had Gurman confirming some iPhone 14 stuff this week. I don't want to put any words in his mouth here. So let's go to the front page tech story. Where is it? Is it? Oh, yeah. It's the story that I've been showing here this whole time. iPhone 14 coming with, quote, complete redesign, end quote, next year, says Marcus Gurman. According to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, this is from the front page tech story, via his Power On newsletter, which I feel like we talk about every week here. You're right, Leander. That newsletter was a good idea because it allows him to drip out things that he's hearing without making like a formal declaration, right? So we're constantly just talking about it. Let's see here. Apple's refreshing the entire iPhone lineup next year with a major new redesign. Well, I mean, we kind of already knew that, but, okay.
Just like we knew it about Apple Watch for this year.
Yeah, well, that's true. Mark specifically uses the words, quote, complete redesign, hinting at a totally new look for next year's phone, not just a tweaking to the existing design. This is Mark Gurman's tweet here.
Well, but if you look at those renders, that it's going to look. I mean, is it going to be round? Is it going to be star shaped? I mean, it ain't, is it? It's going to look like an iPhone with maybe no camera bump.
Wasn't there some strange story a while ago that Steve Jobs was obsessed with ninja stars? Do you remember this?
Right.
What if they made like one ninja star shaped? That'd be pretty cool. Steve Jobs comes out. He's like beaming with pride to introduce it, right?
Steve Jobs was obsessed with ninja stars.
Do you remember this story? Do you guys remember this story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't true, but there was this story that came out a long time ago that like Steve Jobs had some strange obsession with ninja stars.
He's go in the backyard and chuck him at people walking by, or Apple employees, or
who aren't typing fast enough, typing their code fast enough. It's actually not a bad idea to consider here, Lewis.
Here's the story from today in Apple history.
Okay, God, talk about we need to make a shirt out of this with like Steve Jobs holding like a ninja star. Where did you post this?
In this Slack.
Okay,
there.
let me. We gotta bring this up for those of you that don't believe me. I got the receipts.
Of course, the headline is Apple denies Steve Jobs' love of
course.
ninja stars.
Of course.
Deny.
Look at this header image. That's exactly what the iPhone should look like. That's the exact shape. Today in Apple history.
One on his private jet.
Dude, this was recently. Holy moly! What a coincidence! This is just from the other day, 2 weeks ago. Apple denies Steve Jobs' love of ninja stars. There you go. September 14th, 2010. Security workers reportedly stopped Steve Jobs at Japan's Kansai International Airport. The reason? The Apple CEO supposedly tried to bring ninja throwing stars onto his private plane. Got to keep secure somehow. While heading home from vacation. It's one of the most bizarre Steve Jobs stories ever, but isn't it like entirely believable that he would have some strange obsession with ninja stars? It totally is.
It's the kind of thing he would buy for his son, right? For Reed.
I don't know about his son.
Or maybe his daughter, yeah, or maybe his wife. I don't know. Maybe she likes them. But it's the kind of thing that you get for a present, don't you think?
Maybe.
For some maladjusted sociopath.
The Steve Jobs ninja star story was covered prominently by Bloomberg, as well as Japanese tabloid magazine Spa. Authorities stopped Jobs during an airport security scan, the report said, after detecting the ninja weapons in his carry-on luggage. Wonder what else he was carrying there. Maybe he had
here's the best part.
Yeah. The story cited unidentified officials at the airport and from within Japan's transportation ministry. An airport spokesman confirmed that the incident did take place, but stopped short of identifying the individual involved. What's the best part? That?
The next paragraph's the best part.
Although Apple insisted the events never transpired, Jobs' alleged response to officials sounded like quintessential Steve. He supposedly argued that the rules shouldn't apply to him because it would make no sense for him to hijack his own private jet. He is right. He then reportedly said he would never visit Japan again.
That's the funny part. I'm never coming back. And they're like, ooh, please visit Jobs.
They ratted him out. They ratted out his love of ninja stars, and he canceled them. He's like, yeah, I'm not coming back here. Now everyone knows about my weird ninja star fetish. And next team's gonna have like the bow covered with like all the ribbons and everything on there. They're gonna have like a video of him like practicing it, and then someone would put it into Premiere and add like the lightsaber effects. It would end up on the internet. Alrighty. Well, stunningly, most of our audience has stayed tuned for that entire story, which really is impressive because we were talking about Steve Jobs' obsession with ninja stars. Allegedly.
What a tangent.
I think that's arguably the best part of the show right there, Lewis. Is that it? I think that's it. Did we cover everything? Because I'm raising the level.
We got everything in the notes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm raising the level on the CultCast music. Before I turn it on, do you have any last words here, Lewis?
No.
Any strange obsessions you'd care to reveal here on the show?
Just take some macros and send them to us. We love them.
Yeah, especially if you're weird eyeballs.
Yeah,
let's get some
definitely
eyeballs.
The eyeball macro should be just a thing that everybody does.
If you
try not to scare yourself.
If you tweet me at Erfon, ERFON, a macro of your eyeball, I will retweet it. That's a promise. I will retweet every single one of those. If you send it to me, let's see your eyeballs. Just do hashtag CultCast, hashtag my eyeball, and I will retweet every single one of those. And by the way, before we stop here, if you enjoyed this content, leave us a 5-star review in iTunes. I was just looking, and some of you went in there and cranked up our rating, which is super helpful. It helps other people find this really high-quality content. Yes, Lewis?
That's awesome. I said it's awesome.
Yeah, they want more nose sniffing. Leander, I just have you know that. Oh, there it is. Oh. We need to make a Leander Sniffs ASMR album. It would be it'd be so easy to do. Like, just position the mic right under your schnoz, like so, and then just do your workday.
Just breathe.
And just breathe normal.
Can't you just assemble that from past broadcasts?
I probably could put together a reel. Yeah. I
You should
normally,
get a soundboard too.
I normally
A
have
real
to
sizzle reel.
sizzle reel. Leander Sniffs Part 2. All right. All right. Well, with that,
6 hours.
6 hours, Leander Sniffs. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Thanks for everyone who joined us live in the chat here. It's fun seeing you guys go at it here. Lots of people talking about bugs and iPhone 13. God, you can't believe it. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. If you want some more of this, if you want some more of this action, we're all on Twitter. I'm at Erfon, ERFON. Leander's at L Caney. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This has been the CultCast, the best 30+ minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. Double plus this week. Oh my goodness. Oh my. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you govs next time. This is my hang loose. Oh, wait. We'll see you govs next time. Marlon says, see ya. I love how many Tim Cook impressions we get in the chat. It is one of my favorite things. Oh. I'm not going to say your name. Already pre-ordered the 14 Pro Ultra Max. Oh, man, we forgot to do the sizes. We forgot to talk about the sizes.
It's real simple. Next year.
That was the most important part of the story.
There's no mini. The other two, the Pro and the regular, have size parity. That's the rumor, right?
I can't believe we forgot that part. I blame Lewis. Those baby
blue. I was about
blue.
to say something, but you seemed intent on, cueing the song. So.
God, I lost track. I completely lost track of the show. You know I will, Adam. You know I always do. Firm handshakes to everyone in the chat. I'm hovering over the end stream button as we speak. That's all we have. I'm literally just waiting for the music to stop, and then I'm going to hit the
Sweaty
stop.
monkey.
Who'd you call a sweaty monkey? What?
Push it!
Jeez, Lewis has lost it.